is Katie Burke, and I'm so thrilled that you're here watching this video. I have such a special sharing today. Today I sat down to do some writing and I asked my guide Isis, I got a little bit flustered, and this is clearly coming from my ego, and I was just like, why are you encouraging me to use your name anyway? Why can't we just, do this in a way where you give me the content and I record the video, but I don't have to associate myself with an ascended master and goddess such as yourself, Isis? Why can't it just be me? Why can't it be all about me? Which I'm just being honest, this was just like a thought process that I'm having, and I think it's important to share it because I've really noticed over the last year and a half, I've noticed such a change in, I've just noticed such a difference and a change of direction for so many people, including myself. If you followed what I'm doing in my journey over the last few years, it's just been all over the place, literally and figuratively, and just being guided to live all over the country, doing incredible deep inner exploration in the vortexes of Sedona. I mean, pretty much just having like my heart completely ripped out of my chest, and then it's just that's a whole other video for another time. So I asked Isis this question of, she was just so insistent that we sit down and we work together, and this has been her request for so long, and I've done my best and then sometimes not so much my best with that request. And so the question, why can't I just do this by myself? And her response was, why would you want to? Why do you want to do this by yourself? Why don't you want to vision a community where this same being, which is such an extraordinary teacher, divine feminine teacher, and guide and way shower, because she can exist in this same plane, beyond space and beyond time. And so not only can she assist me, but she can connect with so many of you as well. She's not this human being, although she was at one point on the planet, but I can only be in one place at a time currently. She's she's an incredible teacher just in that regard, that she can communicate with me and communicate with you anytime we need her. And so she reminded me of that she is always available, and that this relationship building with guides in other realms. So for some of you, this could very well be your star family, but what I'm interested in my own heart and my path right now is the absolute embodiment of Christ consciousness for myself. And I'm completely focused, my blinders are on with my own heart, and what am I doing here? She also reminded me that her consciousness is so much further down the path, and in this same path of walking towards unity and truly healing the planet, and not repeating the stories, the cycle of Lemuria and then Atlantis, and really that kind of self-implosion and kind of like wiping the slate clean and starting over again. She's walked with me in this same way through those lifetimes, through those many lifetimes. This is true for many of you as well. So the question that then was reflected was, why not more support? Why not more support? No matter what it looks like. And for my personality that is here, which is our personalities and what we come here with, and the characters that we want to play right? The role that we want to play. It really resonates with this guide. And for many, many, many reasons we can go into another time. But to enjoy, it's just so much more preferred to hold a vision, of many of us truly like cutting out the crap and cutting out the victimhood and cutting out the things that are no longer serving us or the planet or anyone here. It does not serve anyone to indulge victimhood behavior. I've found myself needing to really make serious vows within myself not to enable anyone who is in a state of victimhood, which can be, again, another reason to have like such a profound experience guide such as Isis, because of course I don't want to be insensitive to the very real feelings that a lot of especially women are walking through right now. But I cannot be an enabler of victimhood. So how do we walk that path while also really holding the hands and hearts of our sisters who are here, who are also going through that same remembering process? It's very helpful to have such a gorgeous being helping us, and by saying her name and by sharing that my process is with this telepathic relationship as my main source of information about my own heart and about my own awakening and about my own process, it is my hope and my vision to see more of us remembering that it's safe to do that. I've gone through a lot this year, especially moving to Sedona, spending time in Sedona, and really doing it, really going through those initiations that Sedona can offer, and going back in January for a second dose. But what I did learn is just how real these beings on the other side are, and to take responsibility for who I'm allowing into my sovereign space, because I am here taking up my space. I'm here to do that. I am here to take up the space I want to take up and speak about that process, because there are so many who have forgotten. There are so many who have forgotten that it is your birthright to take up space, to have it the way you like it. And what I learned in Sedona is just how real it is that there are many beings always around us that we can't see, that aren't in this dimension. They aren't on this physical plane. And I don't know if I fully believed that with my entire being before moving there. And then when I moved there, and just the absolute, I mean, I was very close, of course. Like I think I really hoped, but just to have such a visceral experience with beings who are not in this realm, that were not of this consciousness, that were not of this level of consciousness, this unity / Christ consciousness. It was just a very eye-opening experience. And so once I removed myself from those vortexes, I just was able to really clear my field and hear. And Isis was the first one to step forward and be like, I got you, sister. Like, it's, Mama's here. It's all, let's think about, let's learn about what just happened. And so the more of us who can responsibly connect with beings on the other side and stay very grounded in our own sovereignty and making that such a priority first. This is not a conversation that, that I would imagine that many people are going to receive and maybe be able to, maybe I'm wrong. So this stepping up to be seen and to be seen with our real truth, with our real truth. Now again, I just want to emphasize that the way that you connect to your inner journey is just so personal. This is a timeless concept, which for me is a very comforting piece of information, because I know that I am also timeless, and that I'm existing all over the place and all over time is where I exist. It's just that my consciousness is currently rooted here, because this moment is where my most important learning and most important evolution has the potential to take place. It's right now. It's now. And just that alone, that statement right there, that's a really exciting thing, and it's true for me, and that means it's true for you. If your consciousness is rooted right here, which it is, because hello, you're watching this, that means that this is your time. This is your time to open yourself to the concept, to the reality, not just the concept, to the reality of Christ consciousness. Now this consciousness, this is I believe it gets very easily confused with some sort of like unattainable utopia. It doesn't look like that right now. What it looks like right now is that each individual person has made a commitment to exploring the truth that they are the ultimate creator of their entire experience. So that's why when we look to other gurus, it doesn't quite work, because what we're looking at is someone who has found that connection for themselves, and by focusing on them and how they are doing it and trying to do it the way that they are doing it, it just typically, it's not going to get you all the way there. It can be really helpful, and it's so helpful to share our perspective and the tools that we're using, and and that just translates to all sorts of things for people. Isis also is reminding me that she loves helping you find the things in this reality that are your tools, that are in your toolbox, and they're typically very beautiful and very sacred and incredibly reverent, to the point which I have some things that no one else is allowed to touch them. No one else is allowed to look at them, because they are mine, and it's not so, and these are things that I will not share online, because they are mine and they are for my connection, and they are sacred to me, and that's what sacredness is. And so she loves that. She loves to help you find that and what works for you in that way. So it doesn't exactly work when we're looking to gurus or even ascended masters on this platform where we are aspiring and not looking eye to eye as an equal, and as and I just see this a lot. And I've been this person that looks to others and sees myself as not as perfect, or not as evolved, or not as awake. And it's just so not helpful. It's so not helpful to use our incredibly wise brothers and sisters and the masters on the other side of the veil. It's not helpful for our journey to hold that perspective. So this is a rigorous path. There's not, if anybody is, it just is. It's just a rigorous journey. And so having these ascended masters and these guides, it's really helpful. And I'm tired of pretending that it's not. I'm tired of pretending that this isn't available to everyone. because of my own personal doubts in the past, or because of what I think someone who hasn't thought about it before might think about, you know, what their impression might be of my viewpoints. That's just so over. It's so over, and it just can't go on that way for any of us to be trying to do things that are not perfectly aligned in our truth by Isis. That there's a bit of a process in, you know, in this relationship, and I'm sharing this for those of you who also are connecting to your own guides, is that due to the state of affairs on the planet, I am feeling this enormous platinum ray energy, to which in the platinum ray it's like a sword, is how it feels when it comes into your life, of mastery. And when you step into your own mastery and working with masters, because I'm not interested in working with anything but the masters now, and I don't say that to seclude myself from those of you who are here doing this work either. That's not what I mean. I just mean when I'm doing my own personal inner exploration, I would say most of the time it's going to be most comfortable done with these ascended masters, and then, you know, connecting to many of you through conversation and reflection, and that all sounds really beautiful. And I'm redefining that vision for myself and what that can look like as a community of way showers, and those of us who just know this, and we're doing our best to anchor ourselves to it and embody it with every breath of our day. What has been communicated to me, though, is that as we step into this level of mastery, the whole game about this is just so different now. It's not the same. It's not the same as even 2 years ago. It's just a completely different game as far as the awakening process, what it looks like, and how it's flowing through this reality. It is different. It is really different. The light is becoming lighter, and the dark is becoming darker. And when you get into that place in between, it's really uncomfortable, and there's a lot of anxiety that lives in that place in between. So there is a call to choose. There's a call to choose. There was for me, and there were a lot of things that just needed to be renegotiated within myself and looked at really honestly about how I was spending my time, how I was creating, what I was focusing my time on creating, and it's all turning back to to my own evolution as an ascended master in in training with the ascended masters. So that's why she wants me to use her name. That's why she which is just they're like, the aspect of my higher self is just looking at me like but you know, this is a vulnerable video to make, because I think that these subtleties of how we are connecting are important to speak to, are important to reflect. I've just spent so much time in really my own silence, in my own energy, not in silence, but in my own energy, and over this past year, and what a gift to give yourself, to really go there. And especially if you are a mother, I just want to emphasize how crucial it is for you to do that, to clear your field from your children, to clear your field from your partner, to get that clarity. And and by clarity I mean a clear field, to have that time carved out for yourself and do whatever it takes to provide yourself with that freedom, to which is such a which is just such a basic thing that we need if we are going to be these really clear light workers that are here assisting one another. And I know that there are so many mothers who are here to do incredible teaching and sharing, and you aren't, because there is you have put some incredible expectations on yourself, that which is such a funny thing to do, because who created that expectation, right? You did. I did. I created an expectation for myself. No one else gave me that expectation. I created it. Where did that creation come from? What was it sourced from? Where was the source of that programming that, that programmed me that being a mother looks a certain way? Well, that's really hard to unravel when you don't have any time to yourself and you have little humans literally clawing up your body, and, and like nursing and not sleeping fully through the night, and just the incredible physical toll that it takes on these bodies. So I just want to speak to that for a moment, because it is becoming increasingly important to me to speak on behalf of mothers, and to speak on behalf of mothers who are here with incredible gifts to share outside of their families, outside of their precious families, and to do both, to be both, both the queen and the mother. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being brave enough to step more into your truth every day. It's incredible how much more of our truth is starting to unravel and show itself to us. I don't think that many of us, I think we're just starting to scratch the surface. I think we're just starting to scratch the surface of how much freedom and truth-telling and incredible consciousness that is about to pour through those of us whose commitment it is to connect with this consciousness and invite others to do it with us, because I want that sense of community here that feels very comfortable. It feels very comfortable, and that everyone, just by showing up and by being who we are, it allows others to just show up and be who they are. Isis is showing me, just like, imagine if you could go to dinner and like you really looked forward to it with your girlfriends, and you just get there and it's like, okay. And you get to talk about the things that are real in your heart, and there isn't a filter at all. And you can, speak and be seen, and no one else is taking on your energy, and you're not taking on anyone else's energy. It's just a beautiful co-creative expression together. And, in that unified field, there's so much magic that can unfold that I think we're only just beginning to remember. And I am looking forward to that journey over the next few years of finding those who have chosen to be in the brightest of the light and to anchor themselves to that. That is where my heart is loyal, and that is where I am devoted. I'm excited to find the others who are brave enough to claim that for themselves as well. I thank you for watching this video. I thank you for your presence. Thank you for commenting or sharing if you feel inspired to, or connecting with me. My website is katieburke.co, and you can find out more about me there, or connect with me on my Instagram, which is at katieburke.co. Beautiful to be here. Thank you for being here.